Fellow service members, family and friends, I wanted to shoot video on the occasion of my retirement from 25 years on active duty in the United States Army. There's simply no way to personally thank all the people who have led, supported, and trained me over the past quarter century, so I hope this video will suffice. In February 1993, a U.S. Army recruiter named Sergeant Marshall called me to tell me he had fished my application out of the Navy recruiter's trash can and was willing to help me obtain 3 waivers I needed to join the service. Since the Navy recruiter was not willing to do that, I joined the Army and started basic combat training on my 32nd birthday. My intention at the time was to serve my country for 4 years and return to civilian life. The only 2 jobs I was interested in were infantryman and chaplain assistant. Sergeant Marshall talked me out of enlisting in the infantry, even though I would end up spending 7.5 of my first 11 years assigned to infantry units as a chaplain assistant. I left my beautiful young wife, Amy, with my 1-year-old son and 9-day-old daughter to go to basic training. The base pay at that time was $753 a month, and $100 a month was deducted to enroll in the Montgomery GI Bill education program. Our first duty station was Fort Carson, Colorado, with the 52nd Engineer Combat Battalion, Heavy. I was extremely fortunate to have Sergeant Todd Clayman as my first non-commissioned officer in charge. He pushed me from day one to work hard, compete for Soldier of the Quarter boards, and to develop leadership skills. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and I thank God that my first NCO was Todd Clayman. I also learned that having a good sergeant was the key to everything to do with success in the Army. I've had the undeserved privilege of serving with many great soldiers over the past 25 years, too many to mention by name. I've served with officers, NCOs, and soldiers from every religion, race, and walk of life you could imagine. Each of them, in his or her own special way, left their mark on my career, and many left their mark on my personal life. There is no way to put into words how blessed I feel after having served in the ranks of real heroes for nearly 3 decades. Between June 1999 and January 2004, I was separated from my family for a total of 30 combined months. While my youngest was a newborn, and Amy was taking care of all 4 of our children on her own on an enlisted man's salary. Even with all this responsibility, and me gone for 2.5 years in a 4-year period, Amy not only managed our household and took exceptional care of our 4 young children, she served the church as an officer in the Military Council of Catholic Women and served the units I was assigned to as a family readiness group leader. She received the prestigious Dr. Mary E. Walker Award from the Commanding General of U.S. Army Forces Command for her outstanding achievements for our Army. From 2007 to 2011, Amy also served as the Roman Catholic Community Parish Coordinator at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and Camp Walker, Daegu, South Korea. No matter how many awards and decorations I received in my career, I know that they all belong to my wife, without whom I would never have been a success as a professional soldier. No words are adequate to tell you how grateful I am for your undying support, Amy. We moved 11 times in our career. That means my children constantly having to start over in new schools, making new friends over and over again, often living out of suitcases and boxes, and not being around extended family like their civilian counterparts. I am forever in their debt for sacrificing so much for my service to our country, because in their own way, they too have served our country and deserve recognition. I've been deployed to Haiti, Kuwait, Iraq, and Afghanistan. I served 13 months on the demilitarized zone in Korea and 36 months in Daegu. I served 3.5 years with the Air Assault Infantry and 4 years with the Airborne Infantry. I had the unbelievable privilege of serving with the best chaplain assistants that the Army has ever produced in Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2003 to 2004, with the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division. These men, Jeremy Stewart, Tom Roldan, Philip Roybal, Jay Velasquez, and Brian Christopher will be my brothers forever. And I thank God that we were a team in combat. I would also like to acknowledge some of my outstanding chaplains that I serve with. Chaplain Colonel Jim Murphy, Chaplain Colonel Bobby Whitlock, Chaplain Colonel Glenn Bloomstrom, Chaplain Colonel Greg Walker. You led our teams with integrity, courage, and incredible skill under extremely stressful and even dangerous conditions. There are many, many others, so I better stop here or this video will never end. I am extremely grateful for my pastors during this long career, especially Bishop Neil Buchan, whom I served 2 tours of duty with when he was an Army chaplain. Your Excellency, thank you for your devotion to our Lord and His church, to our soldiers and families, and especially for your personal care for my family. To Reverend Fathers Lito Amande and Jose Herrera, thank you so much for learning the traditional Latin Mass and bringing it to Fort Hood under the heavenly patronage of Father Emil J. Capon. I would also like to thank Sergeant Major Alvin Chaplin, who taught me how to be a combat leader. Command Sergeant Major Clifford R. West for his incredible leadership example. And my wonderful mentor of 19 years, Sergeant Major retired Steve Stott, without whose leadership I could never have come this far. Steve, love you from my heart, and will always be grateful for your leadership, wisdom, and friendship. Thank you. To my peers, thank you for your unwavering encouragement, professional example, and most of all, your friendship. To my airborne battle buddy, Sergeant Major Murphy Morissette, see you at All-American Week. To Sergeant Major John Alam, with whom I was selected by our peers at AIT as most likely to fail in the Army. Guess we showed him, huh, John? None of this would have been possible without the grace and mercy of the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who rescued me from a miserable life of sin and brought me to His Holy Catholic Church, gave me a smart, beautiful, and incredibly strong wife, 4 wonderful children, and a career I would never have chosen if left to my own devices. I pray He is glorified in my life and look forward to whatever adventures He has in store for the Proctor family in retirement. In conclusion, there is a scene in the movie Pride of the Yankees where Lou Gehrig, upon learning he is terminally ill, is making his retirement speech and tells the New York fans, "I count myself as the luckiest man on the face of the earth." While I don't think I'm dying of a terminal disease, that's exactly how I feel upon retirement from the Army. The luckiest man on the face of the earth. Thanks for watching. Airborne, Air Assault, Pro Deo et Patria, Army Strong.